Coach, if you can just start off with some thoughts about the game today.
Yeah, obviously just a great team we played today. Well coached, a lot of seniors, a lot of veteran players in their program, and just we have a lot of respect, for well coached and really gritty players. And this whole weekend we were faced with that, which really, it's about bringing out the best in each other. And I think both games were high level basketball, and I think that's what playing the NCAA tournament is about. So hats off to them. Congratulate them on a stellar season. And in terms of our team, I just have such gratitude for this group. We came in losing 68% of our offense and over 50% of our rebounding and assists and steals from last year, which is a lot to replace. And this group just quickly dug into, making sure they were connected and understood their roles and had the habits that it takes to get to this level. And, I'm just super impressed by all of them and excited for the journey that we have ahead of us.
Jasmine, they went inside early. They're a team that shoots 17 threes a game. They took 2 in the first half. So they were clearly, that's partially a credit to your defense, but they were going inside. You were equal to the challenge. Were you talk about what that was like? I imagine you're kind of used to that now. Do teams attack the inside often on you guys?
I think initially I'm a smaller post, so I think that's kind of a matchup that we like to go to, but we have such a good system in place on how to negate that, and working with the team with strategies on what I do and what the help side can do to just kind of force those passes away. And I think they did a great job of getting the ball in, and we were able to adjust and see what they were working off of, what they got, and we made those adjustments throughout the game. So I think we just have really good strategies in place that we've been working on since the beginning of this season that's allowed us to be so good at post defense.
Coach, there's a really key moment when Kawicki for them hits a 2. You go down and you go to Jasmine and she scores and she gets the foul, and it's Kawicki's 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
Talk about that play.
Yeah, we felt like our post did pretty well inside. They had good looks, good quality looks. They were not doubling or digging. So they had space to operate. Our posts are good when they have some space to operate as well. And Ella's, face up, takes you off the bounce. Jazzy plays back to back. She's like the point guard around the rim. She shifts rotations. She gets players to bite, gives us, our guards, some good looks from a different point of attack on the court. So she kind of does it all, her ability to be able to defend, but also she creates a lot of offense for us that, it isn't always her putting in the hoop. It's her ability to shift defenses and allow us to create better looking shots for our guards. And she just impacts the game all over every possession. And, that's what a senior does, right? And that's what a starter in our program does. That's part of her role, and she really embraced it tonight. Super proud of her.
Allie, 22 points. I know you've had a lot of individual accolades. You've been all conference and all region before. What does this feel like?
This is an unmatched feeling. I mean, ever since I came here, this is what I was looking for, getting to the Final Four and being able to live through these moments.
Hey, you came from Haverford.
Yes.
Not a real successful program, we'll say. Tell me about the story about how you got there. It's on your It's on the website where you mentioned there's a coaching program. How'd you find your way to Smith?
Yeah, I reached out going into my senior year at Haverford because I knew I wanted to keep playing in my 5th year. And I was reaching out to all the coaches I had been in contact with the first time around recruiting. And Coach got me on a visit that summer, and I committed that day. She sold me. The program was just absolutely amazing. Everything she told me I would get to experience, I've experienced. And then they have a great MET program that I was able to be part of.
Coach, what do you remember about from the first time you recruited Allie?
Yeah. This has happened to me a couple times, to be honest.
Noticed that.
But I don't know. It's one of those things where life's kind of funny, right? When it's meant to be that you come together and take a journey together, it's going to happen. we're just so utterly blessed and grateful that, Allie wanted to come be a part of this, and she's been a huge influence, not only as a player, and obviously she's an elite player, but how she transitioned into our program, how she elevated our program, how she accepted our culture, and really, I think it almost ignited her to a different level. It's one of those things where, you need special people in your life, and they come in at different times, and, here's Allie, and it's just was a big lift for our whole team.
You had Sophia Rosa come in, I think, from Tufts
Yep.
the year before.
Yep.
You are really good at integrating these players who are really good elsewhere with very different styles into your program. How do you do that?
Yeah, I think it's each year, it's like figuring out, what it's a puzzle, right? And it's like figuring out how you're going to maximize, your team. And you've got to figure that out, and then you got to get everyone to buy into that, right? And I think every coach is trying to do that. It's the experience of being in the NCAA tournament has been really helpful for me. These games we take our preparation really seriously, but we learn a lot while we're doing it, right? It's sort of an opportunity for us to really grow as a coaching staff and really dive into another elite coach's mind and see how they run the game and how they utilize their strategies, and then you have to come up with all the counters. And so, I think there's that, sort of experience has really pushed me personally to, grow myself as a strategist, and, that's a fun part of the game for me. I really enjoy that part, and my staff's elite at doing it. So, and then obviously it's the execution on the court, right? You're only as good as your players and what they're able to execute throughout 40 minutes. So, I'm really just feeling very grateful and fortunate today to be returning to the Final Four for the third time in a row. With three very different teams. It's a credit to Smith, the community, these players, the belief. That we don't want to be just good, we want to be the greatest team we can be each year, and their drive is something I will remember for my lifetime.
I have just two more. You touched on something last night when Ab Phelps was the new head coach for Bowdoin. She said people don't appreciate how hard it is to go back after you've had success, and every year you've gone one step farther, from Sweet 16 to Final Four to national championship game. How hard was it to come back every year off of that off season and put it behind you and do it again? I'm always impressed by teams who fall short and come back and go even farther the next year.
Yeah, I'm going to say that a lot of it is our mindset. It's from day one. It's understanding what the goals are. We're not going to not talk about the national championship. Like, we talk about it all the time, right? Because I'm a big believer that you have to live in the goals, you have to live in the dream, you have to live in that space in order for it to be a reality for your team. So, that was the goal. That was the first thing we talked about, and I think you have to set where you want to go, and then you got to figure out how you work toward getting there. So we're fortunate to be headed back. We were 10 points short last year. It's going to be a great pod. It's going to be 4 amazing teams. We have a lot of work to do to get ready. But I think this is a very battle-tested program, who's been there, who understands the routine of it. And I like our chances due to the experience that we have. We have players on our team who've only been to a Final Four. They don't know anything else, right? So, that's sort of like a hidden superpower that we're going to have to really maximize to do what we want to do down there.
And my last question actually was for you, Jasmine, because you've been on those teams that have gone to the Final Four. You and Jane, I think, are the two holdovers. What has that been like? Every year you come in off the off season, having had the success, you got to put it behind you, and you start, the old cliche, 0-0, and you're running wind sprints in September or whatever that is. What has that been like?
I think the biggest thing is it's never, we don't really ever put it behind us. It's kind of the fuel that gets us going through that off season, through those grinds where it's just practice before the games. I think we've always just been hungry for something more. We want that next step, and I think that's what pushed us, and that's kind of the mindset that we have throughout the team. So every time that we step on the court, we know yes, that's where we got last season, and that's amazing. But we know we want more, and we know we can do more each time, and that's just been the mindset from since I've been here first year to now. So I think it's always just we want more. We want it all, and we're just going to work as hard as we can to get there.
Good luck next week.
Thank you, everyone.
Good luck.